Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great, thank you. Just wanted to make sure. Sometimes Zoom is tricky for my computer.
Shannon, you ready?
I am, yes.
Are there going to be other people attending, or
Um,
do you know if they plan on attending?
yeah, I thought Brett Jones is going to be getting this. I think Brett was planning to attend in person, but I just sent Jonathan both their email addresses,
Okay.
just in case that they're trying to access it remotely and just don't have a way to get in.
Yeah. Do you want to message him separately just in case? I'll let them know.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll
I'll give it a couple more minutes just in case.
Sorry about that. Okay. Nancy Jane's just joined, so I think we can get started.
All right. Jonathan, you ready? All right. Good morning, everyone. I hereby convene the January 13th, 2025 hearing of the Santa Barbara County Zoning Administrator. I am Linda Liu, and I'll be the zoning administrator for today's hearing, and Mr. Jonathan Martin will be clerking. This hearing will be conducted under the provisions of the Ralph M. Brown Act, open meeting law, as well as the provisions of California planning law and the Santa Barbara County Code. We just have this one item on today's agenda. The clerk will read the item into the record, and I will announce any ex parte communications. I will then get comments from the case planner, followed by the applicant or the applicant's agent, and then I will get comments from the public. Anyone who wishes to testify should use a speaker slip, or if testifying remotely, use the raise hand feature and wait for the clerk to call your name. All right, the first portion of our agenda is for the general public comment. This period gives the public an opportunity to comment on matters that are not scheduled on today's agenda. Mr. Martin, do we have any requests to speak on this?
We have no letter submitted and we have no request to speak on this.
All right, thank you very much. I think we're ready to proceed with our standard agenda.
Okay, we're starting with item 1, 23 CUP-00032, Carmina LLC Special Events. Hearing on the request of Haley Firestone, Carmina LLC, to consider the following: adopt the mitigated negative declaration 24 NGD-00009 pursuant to the state guidelines for implementation of the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. I do not have any ex parte communications to announce. I understand, Ms. Reese, you'll be giving the presentation today.
Yes, Ms. Liu.
All right, you're on.
Great. Good morning, everyone. I'm presenting this minor conditional use permit in Mr. Orchard's stead, and it's an application for 12 special events per calendar year at 5009 Zaca Station Road. And the applicant's proposing 12 commercial special events with a maximum of 2 events per year. Each event will have a maximum of 150 guests and take place between 1 and 10 p.m. And all setup and takedown for events would be completed within 48 hours of the event's beginning and end, respectively. Property zoned Ag 240. It's historically been used for both residential and ag uses, developed with a single family home and various ag accessory structures. And it currently supports the adjacent properties of vineyard operations with an ag office and equipment barns. It also has some equestrian infrastructure on site. Access to the site for events will be provided off of Zaca Station Road via 2 existing all-weather driveways. And the portions of those driveways that are off-site, the applicant holds easements over. There would be a designated parking coordinator present for on-site during events that are attended by 100 or more persons. And they have supplied a parking management plan that was docketed last week after the initial docket. And guests will arrive and depart primarily via shuttle services from various local hotels. There are a few parking spots provided on site for vendors and for like members of the wedding party. Shuttles would drop the guests off at the event location, reception areas. There are 2 in this project, and there would be 3 to 4 shuttles making approximately 2 trips each, both prior to and at the end of the event. Last shuttle would leave by 10:20 p.m. on the evening of the event, and there's adequate turnaround for these shuttles within 100 feet of both event locations on site. And as for other events and reception facilities permitted in the area, there are 6 other permitted special event venues within a 3-mile radius of the site. And there's a summary in section 5.5 of the staff report about this. There are no permanent structures proposed as a part of this project, and all facilities for the events, including tents, portable restrooms, catering amenities, tables, audio equipment, lighting, etc., would be temporary in nature and removed after each event. All amplified noise would end by 10 p.m. And there's been an acoustic study to ensure that that noise doesn't exceed 65 decibels at the property boundary, and that's conditioned as well. And there was a negative declaration prepared for this project. There were potentially significant but mitigable impacts identified for the areas of noise, fire protection, transportation, and aesthetics and visual resources. And the applicant accepted those mitigation measures on November 7th of last year. Those measures have been included in the conditions of approval, which are attachment B to the staff report. And the project is subject to conditions of approval as well to ensure compliance with the comprehensive plan. So based on the information presented today and contained within both the staff report and the docketed parking management plan, staff recommends that the zoning administrator make the required findings for approval, including CEQA findings as specified in attachment A of the staff report. Adopt the negative declaration, which is case number 24 NGD 9, which is included as attachment C to the staff report, and approve the project case number 23 CUP 32, subject to the conditions of approval in attachment B to the staff report. And I'm available for any questions. We also have Ms. Janes here, who's the agent for the project, if you have any questions of her. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Reese. Ms. Janes, have you come off mute?
Yes, hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay,
Ms.
great.
Janes, do you have anything to add to the presentation?
I do not. I just want to thank Shannon for that very comprehensive overview and to thank you for your consideration today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And Ms. Janes, have you had an opportunity to review all the conditions of approval as requested by the planner?
Yes, I have.
And I assume your client's fine with those conditions?
Yes, they are fine with all the conditions. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Ms. Janes. Ms. Reese, I do have a couple of follow-up questions. But first, Mr. Martin, do we have any public speakers for this?
We have no letters submitted for this item, and we have no public speakers.
All right, great. Ms. Reese, question about the parking management plan. In the staff report and in the conditions of approval, it notes it as a proposed plan, so subject to approval. Is this an approved plan now? Is it, what are we?
Working with here. Yeah. Ms. Blue, it's a proposed plan subject to your approval. And as far as how it's encompassed in the conditions, it's mentioned in the project description as well. And that document has the requirements for the parking coordinator, like I mentioned, but also mentions some dust control measures, appropriate signage for people to circulate the site correctly, as well as shuttle plan details.
Great. So once this action is approved and, a couple years down the line, Ms. James's client wishes to change this plan somehow, what is the process for that?
They would be able to amend that plan through like a typical revision process. It would likely require an SCD in this case, since it's subject to discretionary approval.
All right. And so then in that same vein related to this proposed parking management plan, there is a condition number 4 for the on-site parking. It doesn't necessarily refer to this plan at all. Does it need to?
Ms. Liu, that particular condition is derived from a fire-related impact to make sure all the parking's on site and outside of fire access roads. So I wouldn't say that it's necessarily separate from the parking management plan, but it's supplemental and it's directed towards mitigating an impact.
All right, great. So I don't need to change it in any way, or it doesn't need to be changed.
No, Ms. Liu.
Okay. And then lastly, this is just a comment on condition number 6 on the business license. I know that in the past, prior similar projects that came before me, that relate to this particular condition for the business licenses, the treasurer tax collector had some concerns about the language and the check-in with them. So is this the final language that was approved or authorized by the treasurer tax collector?
Ms. Liu, thank you for bringing that up. We had a chance to research that internally, and we do have a revision that we'd like to incorporate into the action letter.
Okay.
And we would like to update the condition to read, the permittee shall obtain all necessary approvals from the county treasurer tax collector, including a business license if required. We don't anticipate that one would be required, and that is the most recent language used that the treasurer tax collector reviewed.
All right, great. Ms. Janes, just FYI, that means that condition is going to be changed slightly. I assume you guys would be fine with it?
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Then I don't have any further questions for you, Ms. Reese. Thank you very much. And thank you to Mr. Orta for preparing that staff report. It was very helpful, particularly that summary table. So I'll go ahead and close out the public hearing for this item, and I will make the required findings for this project as specified in attachment A of the staff report, including the CEQA findings. I do adopt the negative declaration 24 NGD 00009 included as attachment C of the staff report, and adopt the mitigation monitoring program contained in the conditions of approval included as attachment B. And I approve this project, case number 23 CUP 0032, subject to the conditions of approval included as attachment B of the staff report and as revised in today's hearing. Thank you very much, Ms. Janes, for being here.
Thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate you.
And Ms. Reese, thank you for taking over.
Thanks, Ms. Liu. Happy to
Yeah.
do it.
All right, Mr.
you,
Martin,
Shannon.
I believe that concludes our hearing for today.